Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now if you saw my little shorts video, I asked about doing a colour along and a lot of you said Kerby. I've got a couple of Hannah Cows on and a couple of mouse guards, so I know I'm going to write these down for future videos. But I've chosen to do a Kerby page in Mythomorphia. Mythomorphia is still my favourite out of all his books. The only thing that I don't like is the random objects. So this is the page that I'm going to be colouring. I don't know how many parts that I'm going to be able to do this one in. Now I think I'll do my usual of the background first, just to get that out of the way. I did think about gesso in the page, but then not everyone's going to have that gesso. Not everyone's, yeah, you're not all going to have that gesso, and you might not want to use the amount of watercolour that I was planning on using. I was going to base the whole thing in watercolour. So I need to have a think about the background. I am thinking about basing the actual serpent with a really watered down acrylic base. I think we've all learnt that from Dee Dee. She does a lot of the watered down acrylic. But the reason that I chose this page is because I've previously done it. I have actually previously coloured this, and this was a couple of years ago at this point that I've done this. So I want to redo it and see how much my techniques have improved, my colour choices. I can see that I've barely done any shading on this, absolutely any. Actually, I'll be able to show you a little bit better. I've used mostly a watercolour on this. I've not done any shading on the scales. That's an acrylic black background, which I still do now, and that would have been Posca pen. There's some shiny stuff on the, I don't know what you call it, the sails. The sails. There's no gel pen. There's even bits of the serpent that I've missed. I mean, I'm convinced that I can probably do it a little bit better. I've used something shiny as well for the moon. So that is the plan. That is the plan. Like I said, I don't know how many videos and how many parts this is going to take, because it is a double page spread and it is quite a detailed page. But I am planning on using mixed media. I'll try and keep it down to what I class as a bare minimum for me. So if you are joining in, and I'll choose as well, like my watercolours, I'll probably use maybe my Winsor & Newton ones, or the White Knight paints. They're very nice. And then maybe just stick to either Prismacolor or the Artex pencils. I don't know. I'm still undecided whether I should gesso the whole page or not, but like I said, if I do that, then it's probably not fair on the people that have not got the gesso. And one thing with gesso is I won't use my really nice pencils because it eats away. It does give the paper a really, I don't want to say sandpaper, but it's a lot more textured than this. So in my experience with using these books, there's only been a few instances that I've had issues with any sort of watercolour, or that was heavily watercolour, or it might have even been Neocolour. I can't remember. I think I've done more in this copy, and you'd be able to get a decent idea. Yeah, you've just seen that one. That one was a whoopsie. That was Neocolour. That was acrylic background and a bit of Neocolour here, and then all that's pencil work. What you can see on top is that extreme glitter, Mod Podge extreme glitter. It makes the paper really nice and thick, that as well. So that was a heavily watercolour background. You can see how it's bled over, but it's flattened absolutely beautifully. I mean, it's made like a slight curve to this side, but you know, I'm not bothered about that. And that was an early one. Let me show you the difference. I know this is meant to be a colour along, but I wanted to do a decent intro. So that was one that I followed, Colour with Clay. I think we've all followed that tutorial. Colour with Clay did that tutorial in Neocolour 2s, and then I redid it once my techniques and colour choices have changed. So that's the sort of idea that I want to do with this. I just want to loop back and the different things. I'm sure I did a background video on this. I'm sure I did, but I'm still very, very pleased with that one. I wouldn't mind colouring that illustration again, actually. But anyway, I'm going to get all of my different mediums out, decide what to use. I'm really not a plan ahead what colours that I'm going to use. I just get the palette or get the pencils and colour away, and that's the way that I work best. So yeah, let's just get on with it instead of me harping on. So I have decided to start off with the background. I've got my plastic sheets. Now I did pull out my masking tape because I was thinking about doing some sort of border like a black border, but I can decide that later down the line. So I'll pop these here. I've also pulled out my Neocolor 2s. That's what I'm going to use for the background. I think I'm probably going to have to base the whole of this illustration, otherwise it would take me hours and hours and hours, and I think it would be a boring video. So that's the way that I'm going to do it, and that's the way that I enjoy doing it as well. So these are my Neocolors. And we're going to go with like a purpley, pink, navy blue, sky. So let's pull out just a few colours. I might not use all these, so I'm getting an idea of what I've got to choose from. If I remember correctly as well, there's not that many pinks in the Neocolors. Is there any more in here? That's a lighter purple. And I've got the black. That's the same, isn't it? Yeah. And what about a bit of that blue? That might be quite nice. I'll just use these for now. Now because I'm right-handed, I'm going to work left to right. Otherwise I'll be just leaning into them. So I'll tell you the colours that I end up using as I go along. I've got my old cloth. I do like using aqua brushes when it comes to Neocolors. I don't know why, just always have. That might be a bit too wide. I desperately need to sort these brushes out and order some new ones, because most of them now, they're unusable. They're so worn. What about the Arteza ones? That's a square. Not having much luck. This one might be okay. It could come in an Inktense set, I think. One of the Inktense palettes. I'll try that one. Sometimes I use the tray. Sometimes, like today, I'm just going to directly colour onto the illustration. I'll do this half first. Get that activated, move on the other side, and then if I need to tweak it, I can do. So I just want to make a couple of areas a little bit lighter. I do like adding a lot of pigment when I'm using Neocolors, but they are really pigmented, so you don't have to go overboard with it. Now, because I'm a stickler for liking things matching the actual colour of the serpent, I might pick one of these colours and try and get a similar match in my watercolours. And then same with the sea. I don't think I want to do it blue. I want to do it either pink or purple. Why not? I tend to always try and colour things like realism, and I've been getting a little bit better at not doing that, and I love the way it turns out. So I think I'll try it on this and see how I get on. I've got a funny feeling though, I might have to do 1 or 2 layers to get the effect that I'm looking for, but we'll see. I didn't tell you the pink then, did I? It's literally called pink, that one, and then that one's periwinkle blue. This one is turquoise blue. Do a bit of overlap in there, why not? And then in with a slightly darker blue, which is sapphire blue. Now I'm not being like really careful. I don't mind if it goes on the actual serpent itself because I'm going over the top of that. And you don't have to go over every single white patch because they do blend out beautifully as they do like melt into the paper. So they're really forgiving. That's one thing I do like about these. They're a little bit more forgiving than watercolours. But I will stick to my original idea of using a lot of white acrylic for the waves. That part I will stick to being a little bit more realistic. Well, as realistic as this page can be. So my idea now is I just want to build up the darkness and then aim to get to the black. And it does look really random, but it comes together. Who else is excited for Kerby's new book? I cannot wait. I've not actually been checking the stores because I believe one year I managed to get it early from a store called The Works. I can't remember which boot that was. So I need to check. Maybe I'll get lucky again. So that is actually coming down here. I didn't tell you the colour of this. I'm terrible for that, aren't I? The name's gone. The name's gone, but it's a really lovely navy blue colour. That's the only thing with these. As soon as you take the paper off, the names disappear on you. So how are you meant to restock? Now, someone commented when I was harping on about this, and it's called purple and it's more of a pink. And what language? I can't remember, but it wasn't in English. That's why it was called purple. So that was really interesting. I can't remember who makes Neo Colours, the brand. Where they're actually from, I don't know. Can't remember. Oh, we need a little bit of that darker one, don't we, down here. Then I want some of that pink. And then I think I'm just going to choose one of these purples. So one's lilac and one's violet. I'll go with the violet. Just a touch of this here and there. Oh, I feel a sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Oh. And then the last one is black. I know the paper's gone, but I'm just sure that it's black, this one. And then we can get to the fun part of activating it. I still think that this might look quite cool with some sort of border. Now, I've nearly missed a bit there. I nearly missed a bit, so I'll go back and do that in a second. There's not enough to put pinks. I'll put a bit of the blue and then deepen it up. And then lastly the black. I really need to sharpen these, but I hate sharpening them. I feel like I'm just wasting it. I'm just double checking all this is C, isn't it? Yeah. Just want to make sure. So how many have you end up using there? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 colours I've used all together there. Now, my clean water. I've started as well because I'm lazy. Taking old candle jars, cleaning them out and using them for water, and then when I get 3 dirty ones I then wash them out. Is that laziness or is it genius? So, bring you in ever so slightly. I think I want to work on the top section first and do the light areas first. Try and not mix them too much, like what I'm doing there with the pink and the blue, because it turns into a muddy mess like that. So don't do that. Don't do that. Try and separate colours. Now what I've found with nail colour, for some reason just doing like a dabbing motion, it gives it a really cool effect. Especially when you're using a lot of the pigment. For some reason it just works. Now this is the part, it's starting to pill where I'm sort of like kicking myself that I didn't gesso the page, but I've done this 1,000,001 times in the Kerby books and it works out. It does work out. It's sort of like trust the process. A little bit down there that I missed. Yeah, trust the process sort of thing. Again, I don't mind if it goes onto the serpent because that is only going to get covered up anyway. So I am right, I am going to need a second layer of this because that black, unless I can go over the top, I don't think it's going to be as deep as I wanted it. Well, that bit's not too bad. It was really light there. I'll do it bit by bit. You don't just want to splash water all over because that's when you'll see the lines of where you've actually coloured the crayon on. That's not what I'm looking for. I'll also do like a splatter effect of stars with this as well, but towards the end. So I am going to go over with another layer because I really like the look of that pink. I would like that to show through a little bit more. Get right into the spine. That's another good thing about Kerby boots. They do lie pretty flat. bring some more of that blue down. So the paper is starting to buckle. It is starting to buckle. But I showed you on some of the other double page spreads that I've done, it just takes a little bit of patience. I didn't iron that page. You know, it's just dried like that. I'm going to leave that one just as it is actually. Quite like the looks of that. Now, I probably can't use my heat gun because I put this plastic sheet to protect the page behind. So I'll have to wait before I go in with another layer. Just make sure that your paper is completely dry, otherwise you'll just destroy it. So these smaller areas I'm not going to do the dabbing technique because it is such a small area. You can also, with the nail colours, just literally paint straight on them, like picking the colour up and then paint straight on like that. It's entirely up to you. Do it a little bit there, otherwise that would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Right, almost there with this first layer. Notice there's a bit there that I've missed, so I'll just use the leftover what's on the brush to fill that in. There's always a bit that I miss. So I will have to be a bit patient, I suppose. I'll move on to the next side and then we'll come back and do that side, why not? So it's a very similar thing on this side. So we should be fine now after that battery change. So get on my colours again. Now looking back at the other side, the pink only ever so slightly shows through. I'm still going to have to pop it down as I want it matching this side. Oh, what colour should we do with the moon? Again, it doesn't have to be a traditional colour, does it? Now there's a lot more area to cover on the background on this side. So we've got pink again. I'm not going to worry too much about these little areas. If I go over them, I go over them. And then the, was it periwinkle blue? Yep. And then some of the turquoise blue. I do really like the colour of this. I'm tempted to put it on the moon. You know what I am going to do. Got a turquoise moon. Actually, will make it turquoise and pink. Yep. So the pink can go here. Then we do want splashes of this as well. I'm not worried about these little bits because they're going to get covered by acrylic paint anyway. And then in with the sapphire blue. And when it comes to the black on this side, I think I'll try and be a little bit more heavy-handed. So I'll get away with not doing 2 layers like I'm going to have to do on the other side. Get a line because the plastic sheet's moved. See, this illustration, I wish it just didn't have like the random fish in the air and you've got an octopus in the air. If the octopus was down here, dolphin's throwing off, there's a peacock feather there. I'm glad he decided to get rid of that, the random stuff. I don't particularly like it. It's got super duper long tail, tongue. Well, he's got a super duper long tail as well. I'm going to put extra pigment right in the corners just so I can spread that out. So that might be enough of that. This is the dark navy that I said that I can't figure out the colour of, unfortunately. Any more that I can do here. We've got that even darker navy colour. I don't know the names of these. And then in with the violet. And then the black. We'll see how we get on with that. So left to right again. Just clean my brush off. Spilt a drop of water there, so now the colour's bleeding into it. Not much I can do about that now. So before I move into that lighter blue, just blend that out first and then blend it into the darker blue, just like that. Just so you can still see it a little bit. Please don't worry about the lines, because that'll just get covered. Oh, I can hear a little puppy. I love puppies. Same thing with this pink as well. So activate the colours around it, clean my brush and do it that way, instead of muddying the colours up. I'm just going to go over the fish. I'm not worried about them. That's this big section of blue. I think I'll leave that to the last. The teeth I plan on going over the top again with some sort of white acrylic. That might be a paint pen or something along the lines of that. Let's move up here. Oh, missed a bit at the top. There we go. Do the lighter colours, try not to have them muddy into each other. Too much pigment there, pick it up. It's all a bit like trial and error with nail colours. You know, it's learning what works best for you. I'm going to leave that for a second before I attempt to do that moon. So for the moon, I am going to try and switch over to a more square. It's just because it's one of the biggest aqua brushes that I've got. So we'll do the blue first. It's not very bendy, this brush. There's a reason why I didn't like it. But I'm sure it'll do the job. Just going to activate it first and really load the brush up. I'm not going to tap any of that excess off. I do really want this quite watery. And see if I can get the colours to sort of bleed into each other and not mix. Just like that. It's a daisy. So that should be drying off the other side now, actually. For me to just add a little bit of colour here and there. So I said I wanted to add a little bit of the pink. And then some of the black. Not much. I do like how it looks, but I just want a little bit more. There's some of that sapphire blue, was it? Yep. And do the same, so activate this. And not tap it this time. I'm just trying to work out whether it looks like it's equal on both sides. That's quite dark up there. Maybe I should add, I can show you this then now. Actually, I'll do it from the back. Just pop a little bit of water on it and it's instant. No need to wait. And just pop that wherever you want to deepen it up a little bit. Maybe a little bit more underneath. Now the paper is still quite wet on this side, it's not completely dry. But I'm quite pleased how that's turned out so far. I want some more pink. I'm going to add a little bit more pink as well to that moon. That should do. And then for the moon, if you've never tried nail colour, I'd highly suggest it. Now, I was buying my open stocks from Jackson Arts. Maybe just pick up 2 or 3 colours and see if we can get a nice, a colour blend. These are the colours that I tend to always use in nail colours. I'm a creature of habit. And then why not add a little bit more of the, which one was it? Turquoise blue. I have not got, oh, tell a lie. I'm going to try it. I was going to say darker blue, cobalt blue. So add some of this one first. And then we can add the shadows and stuff with pencils later on. Now, this is a Friday when I'm filming this video. And it's coming up to the end of the school day. So it will probably be next week when you see part 2. Yeah. probably next week. I've got my day date with my husband on Monday, which I can't wait for, so I won't be able to film then. Tuesday I've got my daughter off school to get this house sorted, so it'll probably be Wednesday or Thursday unfortunately, unless I can film at night time. We'll see. But that was a perfect colour match, wasn't it? I would have liked a deeper one though, an even deeper turquoise would have been very nice. I've not got one. Go on, we'll just add a touch more pink, just a touch more. So now that I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to have time now to mess with this page, it'll get a good chance to dry. And this time tomorrow, I might even possibly close the boot back up and put some heavy boots on top and flatten it out even more. So when I'm using the pencil, it'll be a bit easier. Have I got a darker pink? No, but there is this purple I might be able to use. Lilac, it might be a bit too light. And that one's not activating as well, you see. It's gone like a little bit white, that one almost. There we go. Yeah, that's not going to show up as well. But it'll do. It'll do. So I will see you in part 2.